Clare Daly has question number 10.
Thanks, Ceann. Minister, my question is in general terms. I can be more specific about it now. I'm speaking about somebody who was taken on by Hertz Car Hire and paid the princely sum of €2.46 per hour for a period of months on a promise of a permanent position. And I'm wondering, are you aware of this situation, and would you think that if it can happen in a company supposedly as reputable as Hertz, what's to say these examples of exploitation aren't happening elsewhere, and what are you going to do about it?
Good morning, Minister.
Thank you very much.
10.
Thank Deputy Daly for raising this matter with me. With limited specified exceptions, e.g. close family members, statutory apprentices, participants in job bridge, the National Minimum Wage Act applies to all employees. The Act defines employees a person of any age who has entered into, or works, or has worked under a contract of employment. A contract of employment means a contract of service or apprenticeship or any other contract whereby an individual agrees with another person to do or perform personally any work or service for that person or a third person, whether or not the third person is a party to the contract. The current national minimum wage for an experienced adult worker is €8.65 per hour, as you are only too well aware. And hourly rates of between 70% and 90% of the adult rate applies to employees under the age of 18 years. In the first 2 years after that date of first employment over age 18 and undergoing a course that satisfies the conditions set out in Statutory Instrument number 99 of 2000. Deputy Daly, it's a criminal offence for an employer to pay an employee less than his or her minimum hourly rate of pay entitlement. I can't be any clearer than that. If an employee is not satisfied that he or she is being paid his or her statutory minimum entitlement under the 2000 Act, the employee may refer the dispute to the Rights Commissioner or refer the matter directly to the National Employment Rights Authority for investigation. NERA, as you're aware, has a regionally based inspectorate mandated to ensure compliance with employment related legislation, including the national minimum wage. Inspections result from cases and sectors identified on the basis of risk analysis. That's the way that NERA works, including unannounced inspections, and as a result of complaints received. 917 inspections were by way of follow-up to complaints in 2013, and to the end of September 2014, NERA has recovered €637,000 of unpaid wages for employees.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Clare Daly.
Yeah, it's quite clear from the Minister's response that there has been a flagrant breach of the law here, and as you rightly say, a criminal offence has been carried out. Now, I'm talking about a case where at least one, if not, well, actually at least two, if not a number of people, were taken on a promise of a full-time job. They were employed for 6 months and received pay slips with the figure €2.46 per hour on it. When they questioned that payment after a month or two, they were told, don't be worrying about it, it's emergency tax, you'll get the money back. A complaint was put into NERA in June. I've written to the company myself in the last month and got no reply whatsoever, but I believe that NERA were in contact last night to say that the company, Hertz, have said, yes, when they looked at the books with NERA, there was a mistake and they're sorry about that and monies will be refunded. Well, I'm sorry, but it isn't a mistake. It's a criminal offence. Everybody knows what the minimum wage is, and to be paying people $2.46 per hour isn't a mistake. It's fraud, in my opinion, and I would be hoping, Minister, that you'd follow it up and actually that we would see a criminal prosecution, because unless we do, this type of super exploitation is going to continue.
Thank you. Minister.
Thanks very much, Deputy Daly. You have raised a very serious matter indeed, and I'm glad that you've taken the opportunity to put it on the record of the Dáil. In anticipation of this, I keep a very close eye with deep personal interest in this whole area, and I keep a very close eye on trends and enforcement and prosecutions in that whole area. And I do understand that NERA have indeed carried out an inspection at that particular site, or in relation to that particular issue that you had raised with NERA previously. And I think it is important, and that there's a strong message that comes out from this Parliament, that where there are suspected breaches of important national minimum wage legislation, that it is reported to NERA. NERA are equipped to carry out inspections. There is a suite of regulations there governing this area, and it is so important that these issues are brought to the attention of our National Employment Inspectorate. Inspectorate, critically important. And they will investigate, they do investigate, and they do get results. And from the point of view of enforcement, inspections and prosecutions, it is clear that NERA does get results when complaints are made to that particular organisation.
Thank you. Deputy Daly.
I accept that, and I hope you will monitor it. Okay, but the problem is the complaint was made to NERA in June. The person started in April. They actually finished up last week. They kept it to exactly 6 months that they were there. So in that sense, if you like, the horse had well bolted by the time that NERA got back. Multinationals like Hertz rely heavily on people for whom English would not be their first language. Many European workers are employed there who are not originally from Ireland and would be more vulnerable to exploitation based on that. And in fact, I think that was the situation here. So I think we need to do more. It's not a mistake. It's a trend, and to cut across it, we need to be very heavy-handed in the response, so we can monitor the next Minister's questions, but I would ask you to look into it.
Come on, Minister.
NERA does work very close with employers and, of course, uses every opportunity it has to ensure that employers are very much aware of their legal obligations in terms of the legislative area that governs NERA and the legislative area that's of interest to me. And I just want to restate it is critically important that employees remain vigilant, the trade unions remain vigilant, and that we all remain vigilant, as well as public representatives, in terms of cases that are brought to our attention, that we do use the appropriate channels that are there to have these very serious matters investigated and decided upon by